Othello. A tragic hero whose trusting nature and jealousy led to his demise. In this particular speech at the end of the play, we find Othello realizing his mistakes and reflecting on his downfall, as well as leaving a dying request before he kills himself. In this speech, Othello requests that when Venice receives word of his death, as well as his acts of killing Desdemona, they speak honestly and true to what happened. He wishes for them to know that he wasn't a jealous man, but jealousy got the best of him, and in a poor and clouded decision, he killed his beloved wife. He also wants to identify his regret and sadness regarding his terrible mistake. In his conclusion, he wants his legacy of the battles and his success to live on despite his regretted actions. As always, Shakespeare fills the speech with colorful language and powerful literary devices. By examining these devices, we are capable of better understanding Othello's thoughts and desires. Othello uses a simile to exaggerate his regret towards his murder of Desdemona, as he says, "of one whose hand, like the base Indian, threw a pearl away." Othello is upset because he was ignorant of the truth of the situation when he was engulfed by jealousy. He identifies this when he compares himself to a base Indian. Base meaning low in rank or status, and in Shakespearean time, Indian meaning those who are ignorant and lack Western knowledge. He also metaphorically compares Desdemona to a pearl to emphasize her beauty and worth to him. By using this direct comparison, Othello is saying that he is like a low-status, naive man who threw away beautiful riches. This shows how highly Othello regards Desdemona, despite the fact that he killed her just moments before. Alliteration can be identified in the lines, albeit unused to the melting mood. Melting mood is used in reference to weeping or crying. In this line, Othello explains that he is not used to crying or getting emotional, using alliteration to draw particular attention to his current melting mood. Directly after saying he is not one to cry, Othello identifies that despite that fact, he is crying copiously over Desdemona. He uses a simile in the line, "drop tears as fast as the Arabian trees their medicinal gum." By comparing himself to these trees that often ooze sap, Othello emphasizes the amount of crying he is doing over his horrific murder of Desdemona, showing his immense regret. In the line where Othello speaks of his past battles that reads, "And say besides that in Aleppo once, where a malignant and a turbaned Turk beat a Venetian and traduced the state," Othello uses alliteration to add a bit of bite to the words turbaned Turk. The emphasis put on these words shows Othello's negative feelings towards their enemies, the Turkish people. This final speech by Othello finishes off his character development, wrapping up the emotional journey he has taken throughout the course of the play. Despite the way Othello was twisted by jealousy, this speech shows his character reverting back to how he originally was and showing he still has his humanity. The audience paid witness to Othello losing himself to jealousy, but this speech shows that in the end he wasn't actually evil, only changed by jealousy. His regret towards Desdemona's death allows the audience to sympathize for his character. The theme of honor is identified in this speech as Othello is preparing to kill himself, as he is ashamed of what he has done. He requests that after he is gone, they do not forget his success and conquest, and that they know he wasn't really a bad man, jealousy just got the best of him. In conclusion, this beautiful speech shows us that despite the tragic events of the play, Othello regrets his actions immensely and desires to pass on, still maintaining a noble memory.